the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter. Okay? Go to the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter. We're going to get some scriptures today and just talk about this. Hebrews, the 11th chapter. There is, if you mind reading the top, just read the first three.
This is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtain a good report.
By that reasoning, by that way, the elders get a good report. Go ahead.
Through faith we understand that the words were framed by Through faith we understand that the words were framed. The worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
And then when we get to verse 4, it starts to talk about all of these inspirational leaders, all of our forefathers that led by faith, that lived by faith, that made their decisions through faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And it's basically for us a learning point for us to walk in those same steps. Okay? And so today what we want to talk about is something that Simon Sinek goes into, and it's called the Golden Circle. Okay? It's called the Golden Circle. And it's the framework from which he wrote his book, Start With Why. But in that book, he makes great points on, why certain businesses are successful, why they are able to basically catapult themselves in the market. And it led me to think about how that relates to the business of the ministry. Okay? And so we want to pull some scriptures. I want to talk about the why of this ministry, the how of the ministry, and the what of the ministry. Lord willing, this is edifying, and this gets you to kind of get your wheel spinning on your relationship within this organization of the ministry, your relationship within the business of the ministry. And sometimes when our why gets fuzzy, when our beliefs get fuzzy, we lose trust within what we got going on. And it's important for you to maintain your mindset on your why. Why are you here? So when you are stepping forward, when you are leaning on faith, when you don't know what's going to happen over the next hilltop, you strive forward with a mental attitude of joy, with a mental attitude of victory, and a mental attitude of we're going to make it, okay? If you focus on the how and the what, it's not going to be enough fuel for you to keep going. You must focus on the why, okay? So I want to start off with the book of 1 Peter. You don't mind reading that?
God.
1 Peter chapter 1. Let's start at verse 7.
This is 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 7. It says that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, may be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shamashiach.
Yeah, so our faith is going to be tried. Our belief is going to be tried. The reason why we're here is going to be tried. Okay? Because we're here through faith, right? But that's going to prove to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua that we're worthy of the result at the end of the day. Go ahead. Because anytime you start any type of business, you're doing it on faith. You don't know if that business is going to be successful. You want to make the profits. You want to get to the kingdom. The reason why we're here is because we want righteousness on the planet Earth, the kingdom of heaven to be manifested. Okay? We want righteousness to be produced. The will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua on the righteous hand side to be at the forefront of everything that's going on the earth. Okay? That's what you're fighting for. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Whom having not seen ye love, in whom, though now ye see him not, yet believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory.
When Steve Jobs started Apple Computer, he started it to innovate. He started it to he said, all I want to do is I want to make a dent in the universe with what I got going on. He had to believe that it was going to work. He had to believe that the Apple Corporation was going to manifest into what we see today. But when it started, man, people didn't know what people thought he was crazy. People thought he was like, bro, you off the rails, bro. How much more so for us believing in what we believe in, man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It says, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls.
That's right. Keep going.
Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, whom prophesied of the grace that should come unto you.
So the prophets who always lived in faith, they was always searching these things diligently. Just like Steve Jobs searched diligently the enterprise of Apple computers and how to basically change the world and connect with the world through that industry, and how he's changing the game. The music industry has changed because of iTunes. Changed. Will never be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How we all interact, in the world has absolutely changed.
It's changed everything. It's changed.
Okay?
How you work, how you conduct business at work, dating, meeting people, socializing,
These things have changed. Now, the whole world, scope of the world is going to change through this belief.
Mm-hmm.
Through our why.
Mm-hmm.
Through what we're fighting for. Through what we're searching out diligently. Even though other people don't believe or see it. Okay? Let's keep reading verse 11.
Verse 11 says, searching what manner of time the Spirit of Christ which was in them did signify, when it testified beforehand the suffering of Christ and the Hamashiach and the glory that should follow.
And the glory that should follow. That's what we're fighting for, man. That's our duty. That's our pleasure. I want to get this right here in Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. It says, hold on, this is not correct. Sorry. I was reading some scriptures to my daughter. I had to put it on that version. Ecclesiastes 12:13 says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get down to what you're supposed to be doing. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
Mm-hmm.
For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So everything that we do is going to be tried out. Everything that we do is going to be seen. Okay, is this going to be something that I'm going to make profitable, or is this something that I'm going to condemn? You have to know that our why, what we're doing, or the reason why we're here, is to produce righteousness on the planet Earth, man. All right. You get Matthew for me?
Mm-hmm.
Start at verse 13. 5 and 13.
Matthew chapter 5 verse 13. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
Mm-hmm.
It is thenceforth good for nothing."
You lose your savor when you lose your why. When you lose focus and the reason why you're here gets fuzzy and you start to doubt and have disbelief, it's because you forgot why you were here. You start focusing on external things instead of what's going on in the spirit. And then that's when people start blaming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you start blaming this, you start blaming that, you start blaming all these other things. You start blaming people. No, you're here, but you've lost the reason why you're here. You're here so that righteousness can be produced on the planet Earth, man.
Right. Yeah.
And that leads into how and what you're going to use in order to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just going into just being an employer. You have an employee. You want to hire an employee that has a purpose and understands their mission and what they're trying to accomplish. Those employees that are just there for a paycheck usually don't last long. You have to fire them.
And they're hirelings, like the scriptures say. Okay, no salt. Keep going.
Okay. It says, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men.
Mm-hmm.
Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
Mm-hmm.
Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and is given light unto all that are in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
Yeah, man. And so because we have this faith, because we have of this knowledge, because we know while we're here, what does it do? We produce the word. We preach the gospel. That leads into our how. Because you're centered on your why, you have that fuel. All right, you go into your how.
Mm-hmm.
How is this why going to be put out there?
Mm-hmm.
Through the preaching of the gospel, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's going to be put out there. Okay? That's how. I want to make this point real quick, but I want to get Titus 1:4 before. I'm going to read 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 12. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 12, it says, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're looking for. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, when you go up to verse 3, it says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the days scoffers, walking after their own lust. Just like people didn't believe in Jeff Bezos when he was a bum. Didn't have no money. And he started Amazon. You know? Or what's the Tesla guy?
Yeah,
what's his name?
it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Yeah.
Because he had started with PayPal. Mm-hmm. He's the one who did PayPal, sold it off. But he was living out his car, man. People thought he was a clown. How much more so? They called him a bum. What do they call us here at Great Millstone?
Bums.
Bums, man. You're going to have scoffers, man. And I'm using those people who are doing carnal things to highlight this spiritual business that's been started and that has expanded, and now it's at the point to where we're at the point of a breakout. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're at the point of a breakout. Man, I was looking at Apple's numbers, bro. It was absolutely ridiculous, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The first year that they went in, I think they sold like 100,000 computers. The second year, they did 1 million. The third year, they did like 10. By the fourth year, they were selling over 100 million, products. Just killed the game. And you see the exponential growth. How much more so are we seeing the exponential growth of this truth? And now it's to the point to where people are starting to recognize our brand. They want to label it what they're going to label it. But the brand is being out there because why? How we're doing this thing is starting to become manifest because we have all these young men, all these men filled with the spirit power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, filled with the why, filled with the purpose, filled with the belief, filled with the hope, going out there preaching his word, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep this at the forefront of your mind. If you don't mind reading Titus 1.
This is Titus chapter 1, verse 1. It says, Paul, the servant of the Most High and apostle of Yahushua Mashiach, according to the faith of the Most High's elect, and the acknowledging of the truth.
The acknowledging of the truth. All right? There has to be an acknowledgement of that why, man. That Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the truth. This doctrine is it. That's the what. We'll get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm. The eureka moment, like, that makes sense.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts through faith, man. It all starts through faith and when the righteousness of Yahweh Shem Yahushua be produced on the planet Earth. Okay? Acknowledging of the truth. Go ahead.
Uh-huh. Which is after godliness.
Mm-hmm.
In hope of eternal life.
That's the hope. Right? Go ahead.
Which the Most High, that cannot lie, promised before the world began. Okay?
Yeah, man, we're fighting for that. And that it's all linked. That hope, that faith, that promise.
That links up with Ephesians 1.
Mm-hmm.
Ephesians 1:6, I believe.
That all ties into that why, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, keep reading.
But hath in due times manifest his word through preaching.
That's the how. That's how this thing is going to get spread out through the preaching. Go ahead.
Which is committed unto me according to the commandment of the Most High, our Savior.
That's right, man. So that's how this thing is going to be pushed across. And it's something that Paul was continually saying. He was continually letting the people know that, hey, man, we got to preach this word. In order for things to change, in order for things to come to pass, in order for this thing to be manifested, we gotta push it out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's the manufacturing house, right? The preaching of His word. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 17.
This 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 17, it says, "For Hamashiach sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, lest the cross of Hamashiach should be made of none effect.
Right.
For preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness,
Mm-hmm.
but unto us which are saved, it is the power of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
For it is written."
You see, for them that don't really believe, it's foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's like what's that gonna do? And you see that. We even see that within that. We see that within the Israelite community. They don't see the power of the spoken word. They don't see how righteousness, immortality, is going to be manifested on the planet Earth. We see it. We understand the power that's within the preaching. We understand how our words are imbued with the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Yep.
Okay? You look up the word imbued. I'll take that from Apostle Paul. You look up the word imbued. Our words are imbued. You know, gamers know what that means. Keep reading.
It says verse 19, "For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and I will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent."
That's all I want on that. Well, you know what? Keep reading.
"Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not the Most High made foolish the wisdom of this world?
Mm-hmm.
For after that, in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not the Most High. It pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe.
Mm-hmm.
For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom."
Mm-hmm. But the point is the preaching about the foolishness of the preaching to save them that believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point, right?
Yep.
All right, it's mandatory that we go out there and preach this word to show forth our why, to show forth the purpose of us being here, our duty. Okay, it's linked. Our why is linked to our how. We want righteousness to be manifest. We want the kingdom of heaven on earth. We want immortality. We want to be with Yahweh and Yahweh Shem Yahushua. How are we going to do that? By manifesting His will on the planet Earth through preaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's our chief duty. And Paul even says that even more when you go into 1 Corinthians 9. Can you read that? 1 Corinthians 9. Start at 14.
1 Corinthians 9:14. "Even so hath the Lord obtained that."
Read it again.
"Even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel.
That's hand in hand. Come on, you can't be a hypocrite. Go ahead.
But I have used none of these things, neither have I written these things, that it should be so done unto me.
Mm-hmm.
For it were better for me to die, than that any man should make my glorying void.
Go ahead.
For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of,
Mm-hmm.
for necessity is laid upon me. Yeah, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel.
Woe unto me if I preach not the gospel. Go ahead.
For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me."
Mm-hmm. You get that dispensation of a hypocrite. Go ahead.
"What is my reward then? Verily that, when I preach the gospel, I may make the gospel of Hamashiach without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all, that I might gain the more."
And that's where you'll find joy, man. You want to end your depression? Someone said this to me and my wife. We went to a business session, and he said a lot of people live depressed because they don't have purpose in their life. They've forgotten their purpose in their life. That's why amongst millennials, the number one killer of millennials is suicide, because we live in a generation that lacks purpose. We live in an uninspired generation. You lose your purpose, you lose your vision, you lose the will to live. You lose a reason to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that you maintain a why. It's important that you don't allow why you're here, why you do what you do, to get fuzzy. When it gets fuzzy, you get depressed, you get sad, you don't have vision in your life. You don't have direction. You lose joy. Alright? When you don't have purpose, you lose the will to serve. When you have the will to serve, you feel good. When you're helping people, you feel good. When you know that you're adding to a situation, you feel good. Alright? We're here to serve. That's what the word minister means, to serve. Okay? But when you focus on trying to be appreciated from the outside instead of being appreciated in the spirit, then you lose your why. Okay? You start to get offended. Okay? And so we said all that. We talked about the why. We talked about the how. But what are we doing? Well, like what are we bringing to the marketplace, so to speak? All right. And this is one of the things that a lot of guys or a lot of brothers in Great Millstone boast on. When really, that's the last thing. You know, because it's the easiest thing to communicate. A lot of brothers boast on doctrine, which the doctrine is extremely important. Don't get me wrong. You gotta have a great product. You gotta have something that's A1 in the marketplace. You don't want to have trash. You know, but the most important thing is the why. That's at the center. That's what's gonna pull you. That's what's gonna keep you here. We can bring out, you know, and we always make this point, the guys that are like these super Hebrew Israelites and that know all the scriptures and they know the doctrine back and forth like the back of their hand, and they want to quote 83 scriptures to you in 5 seconds, and they know all the breakdowns and stuff like that. They usually have very low faith. They're so centered around the what, the doctrine. They don't have a foundation in the why, and it's great that we have the apostles and elders because they are just excellent examples of why. Through everything that's gone on in the last 3 decades plus, they've kept focused on why they're here, faith in the kingdom, and achieving the promise that Yahweh Shema Shai dictated since the beginning. And that's key. That's fueled the apostles and elders for all these years to keep going, keep preaching, and now we're seeing the fruits, top fruits of that labor. Okay, it's an inside joke. 1 Timothy, Baba Shai.
Okay.
1 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 12, and then read all the way through.
This 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 12 says, "Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity, till I come. Give attendance to reading."
Give attendance to reading. Go ahead.
"To exhortation, to doctrine."
The doctrine is the what? You know, you want to be on point. One of the things that's really, really cool about being a part of this body is that if you lock in and focus, you can learn the scriptures in 6 months. And for you brothers that have been here for a while, you know what I'm talking about. And I'll say this, because this is something I was talking to my wife about. Because brothers are putting up so many videos, sometimes things can get confusing. And I tell you brothers, if you are in a camp, the main people that you're supposed to be listening to in your camp is your camp head. If you're in a camp and you a couple of years in the camp, the main videos you should be watching is the videos from your camp head. Most likely they're talking about you. Most likely they're preaching on the things that directly are tied to what your camp is going through, the things that are seen in the spirit that the camp needs. He's trying to, not even trying, but he's preaching the things that are directly necessary for your growth. And you should be paying attention. The main person I listen to on a daily basis is Yahshua. That's my camp head. You know what I'm saying? Now, we've come a little farther along in all these years, so I'm listening to Yashwamba and the apostles and elders, but I can't listen to everybody. You know, and so this is just advice for brothers, so that you're not so splintered in everything that you're learning. Stay locked in with the leaders amongst you in your camp. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For those people who are just watching and you really want to learn, I've just clicked here on GMS Dallas in class. When you go here, you see this little, what's that called? What's that called? You know, with a magnifying glass. The magnifying glass. You click it with the search.
A little search bar.
The search bar thing. And let's say, baptism. And you're going to get all these videos on baptism. See that? You're going to get all these videos on baptism and stuff. Okay? Virgin birth. You get all these videos on virgin birth. You can go and listen to those lessons on virgin birth. Okay? So you can start getting these lessons up in you. Okay? Hell. How about that? Let's see what happens. Hell. This is just our page. Hell. All these things with hell in it. So you can go and study the scriptures on that. Okay? You see that? And so I'm saying that to say this, man. When it comes to the doctrine, you just need to learn to shut the hell up. But when it comes to the doctrine in and of itself, don't get yourself too, unfocused and splintered on things. If you're young in this thing, I'm talking about 1 or 2 years, get those breakdowns up in you now. The doctrine is important, but it's all coming from the fuel to learn these things and understand these things and get these things in so you can go and preach it. Starts with your why. Starts with why you're here. Starts with faith and belief and wanting immortality and wanting eternity and wanting the kingdom of heaven. That's the fuel that causes you to study to show yourself approved and look diligently. That causes you to go out to the highways and byways and push on how the kingdom of heaven is going to be manifested. Okay? Let's go back to 1 Timothy 4.
Mm-hmm.
You can read 13 and just finish it.
Time. 1 Timothy 4:13. Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy, with the laying on of hands of the presbytery.
Man, so that's a heavy. Verse 14 by itself is a whole sit down. The whole sit down. Okay, and it really speaks to everything that's happening. Well, what we're reading about today. You heard this word because of prophecy, because of what they're going out there preaching, and it manifested some of the spirit because you believed. It manifested something inside of you, and so now all of these gifts were awakened inside of you. Like for me, I love one-on-one. I love teaching. If you got something going on with you, I will sit on the phone with you and talk. And let's go over this, and let's talk about mindset, and let's go over, what you got going on in your life. And, that's one of the things that I take extreme joy in. Okay? Then other brothers have all other different types of gifts, whether it be laying on hands, prophecy, all different types of things. You find as you grow and have experiences, what your gifts are. And you bring them to the ministry, you bring them to the table, and you serve with joy. You can serve, but serving with joy is a whole other level. Let's keep reading.
Meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all.
Go ahead.
Take heed unto thyself.
Take heed unto yourself. Go ahead.
And unto the doctrine.
Go ahead.
Continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee.
All right, man. So that's the whole point of this, man. We take heed to this and then to the doctrine. The doctrine is extremely important. The doctrine is the what. That's the what. of what we're producing in the business of the ministry. We're pushing out the doctrine so people can understand and conceptualize the idea of who Yahweh Shai is, the idea of the kingdom, the idea of the why is produced through the what of the doctrine. And we do that through preaching. That's how we do it. And I hope this is making sense. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get 2 Peter chapter 3. And read verse 10 and then skip down to verse 16. 2 Timothy 3 and 10.
2 Timothy?
2 Timothy 3, read verse 10 and then skip to 16.
The 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 10 says, "But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all that Hamashiach delivered me."
Skip down to 16.
Verse 16, it says, "All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and is profitable."
You know what? 15, 16 is a lot.
Verse 15, "And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is
through what?
Through faith."
Through faith. The foundation of understanding of scriptures has to start with that why. The faith of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. Okay?
Yeah.
But the doctrine is an activating force, right? It's a reinforcement. Go ahead.
Which is in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of the Most High may be perfect, thoroughly furnished into all good works.
Yeah, man. So, you know, we read all the scriptures. You want to make sure that we're focusing on your why you're here, man. We want to produce righteousness, the kingdom of heaven. You know, that's the foundational belief. You have faith that that's going to be manifested on earth. You have belief that that's going to be manifested through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. How are we going to get there? We're going to get there through this ministry, through the preaching of the word, through the confession of Yahweh Shem Shai, through the spirit of prophecy. That's how. What are we going out there preaching? What is the product? The product is this doctrine, this word, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding through the scriptures that's been pushed out, man. That's our why, our how, and our what of the ministry. Our golden circle to having the biggest, best corporation, a best business through the spirit on the planet Earth, man. And we're seeing this thing grow at an exponential rate at this point, and to the point to where now you have the competing idol worship, the forces of darkness. Now they want to come against it, you know. Just like you'll have competing forces in any other industry. You know what I mean? You know, you got Apple, and then you're going to have Samsung trying to do something. They're going to say this or that or whatever industry you want to talk about. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. Did you have any points or anything that you want to say on top of that?
No, that was pretty straightforward. You know, we in this thing because, you know, through this power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, we were led to this thing, and we have to just lock in on that faith that our big brother Yahushua is going to return and do what he said he's going to do, you know. But we have these trials and tribulations, things that we go through, and to stay focused on that mission, we got to know why we're here.
Yeah, you got to know why you're here, brother. So don't let your why get fuzzy. That's why you see guys fall out. It's not because of the doctrine. It's not because of the preaching. It's because they have forgotten why they're here. And so don't forget why you're here, man. Stay locked in on it. Call halal.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem,
We say double honors once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutation to you. I came out there pushing words to see you. Shalom.
Shalom.